بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد يجيء قوما يظهر فيهم السمن. A time will come in the Ummah where obesity will be common. People will be overweight, stout, corpulent. Obesity will be prevalent in my Ummah. A time will come where obesity will be prevalent. Imam Nawawi Rahmatullah says that here obesity refers to where a person does not naturally have genetically a deficiency, but more والمذموم منه may يستكسبه, but through overeating and through gluttony a person becomes obese and overweight. So that is a sign of opulence and extravagance and spending a lot of time on the dastarkhan. So Aisha radiallahu anha used to say, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه يجوعون من غير عوذ. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam and Sahaba underwent poverty and destitution out of their own will. It was out of their own choice. لو شئنا أن نشبع لشبعنا. If we wanted to satiate ourselves and fill our stomachs and consume food, we could have done that. But كان يؤثر على نفسه. Nabi alayhi salam had a routine of giving preference to other people. His concentration and his worry and his concern and his focus was not about worrying about himself, but his concern was about everybody else. Inna Allah ta'ala yubahil malaika. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises that person who decreases eating, drinking. Allah says to the farishta, Unduru ila abdihi, Unduru ila abdi. Look at my servant, Ibtalaytuhu bit-ta'am wa-sharab fi dunya. I tested him with regards to drink, with food in this world, and he was patient. Ishhadu ya malaikati. I make you a witness, every morsel that he has sacrificed, I have replaced him biha darajat fil jannah, stages in the akhirah. So a person should not spend a lot of time on the dastarkhan, eating and snacking and filling the stomach. لا تميت القلب بكثرة الطعام والشراب. The Mashaykh used to say, don't kill your hearts by excessively overeating and drinking. فَإِنَّ الْقَلْبَ, because the heart كَالزَّرْعِ, it is like a plantation. يَمُوتُ إِذَا كَثُرَ عَلَيْهِ الْمَاءِ. Even though you got a luscious plantation that's ready to be harvested, but when you utilize excessive water, then you will kill and you will destroy your crops. Likewise, a person who excessively uses drink and food and abuses it, then this is a means of killing one's spirituality. A doctor, a Western doctor, came to Harun al-Rashid and he said, I have two questions for you. So Harun al-Rashid summoned the ulama and he said, what does your Nabi say about medicine? And what does your Allah Creator say about medicine? So he asked the ulama. So they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu. Eat, drink, and don't be extravagant. Eat, drink, and don't be extravagant. Means eat moderately. When he heard this, he said, this is half of medicine. As for what the Nabi ﷺ said, the ulama explained that, and they quoted the hadith, ما ملأ آدمي وعاء شرا بن بطن بحسب ابن آدم, that no person, or kama qal, fills a container more worse than the stomach of this human being. There is no container on earth more worse that can be filled than the stomach of this human being. وَإِنْ كَانَ لَا بُدَّ وَإِنْ كَانَ لَا مَحَالَةَ فَثُلُثٌ لِطَعَامِهِ وَثُلُثٌ لِشَرَابِهِ وَثُلُثٌ لِنَفْسِهِ. If there is a need to fill this container, then 1/3 for food, 1/3 for drink, and 1/3 for yourself. When he heard this, he says, this is the other half of medicine. This is the other half of medicine. So we are looking for cures, but sometimes a cure is in abstinence. A cure is in abstinence, not in gluttony. Some family was given a dawat, so the father and son went to the palace. So as they were eating, the father said, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, so make sure you eat of everything, because this is the king's dastarkhan. So make sure you eat of everything. So just before the dawat ended, the father seen the son eating and drinking water. So he went on the side and he gave him one shot in the head. And he said, you're drinking water? Don't fill your stomach with water. Don't fill your stomach with water. Fill it with food. Water you get all the time. Food like this we don't ever get. So anyway, after the dawah, they were on their way back home. So they were discussing the different types of foods, and they said, the son told the father that, you know what, for me it works that if I drink water, you didn't need to give me a shot in the head, but for me, when I drink water, it pushes the food down. It causes the digestive process to be expedited, so I can eat more food. So the father hit the son a shot again on his head. So he said, now why are you eating me again? He said, why didn't you tell me that while you were eating? While you were eating, why didn't you give me the secret as well? I would have also drank water. So gluttony is not praiseworthy in Islam. The fact that you've dished out and you can eat another 2 amounts equivalent says you filled 1/3. You must be able to eat that amount twice, 2 more times. Then we are eating in moderation. Likewise, when we fast, we are breaking fast. It needs to be in moderation. And deen is everything about moderation and not extravagance. Isa alayhi salam, while advising the Hawariyin, said, Ya ma'ashar al-Hawariyin, oh my Hawari, make sure that you starve your stomachs and you make thirsty your livers and your kidneys and your body. Keep it with thirst. And make sure you suffice with the clothing that is needed. لَعَلَّ قُلُوبَكُمْ تَرَى عَزَّ وَالْجَلَّ. Yet it's possible that your hearts will see Allah. أَجِيءُ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَاذْمَعُوا. By starving the body means let your body consume what is needed. Through this need and necessity, you will get kashf and nur and anwarat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to be very particular, obviously in this era where the bodies are weak and there's a need to fulfill the basic requirements. We should not also starve our bodies so much that we cause sickness as well to ourselves, and we cause other illnesses because of the starvation. But rather we be moderate. And if we look at statistics, They say from 1975 worldwide obesity has tripled. In 2016, more than 1.9 billion adults 18 years and older were overweight. Of these, 650 million were obese. 39% of adults aged 18 years and over were overweight, and this is 2016 statistics. 39% of adults in the world are either overweight or obese. And most of the world's population, where obesity is common, then being obese kills more people than being underweight. More people die of overeating than undereating. 38 million children under the age of 5 were found to be overweight in these countries, and this is 2019 statistics. Over 240 million children and adolescents aged 5 to 19 were overweight, obese. And people are worried about COVID and people dying. 8% of global deaths are of a result of obesity. Imagine we have a lockdown because people are overeating. And if you look at 1990, 2017 statistics, obesity has increased dramatically. Like we said, from 1975 to now, it has tripled. And according to the Global Burden of Disease study, 4.7 million people died in 2017 as a result of obesity. If you want to understand this just in context, that's 4 times the number of people that died in road accidents and about 5 times the number that have died of HIV. How do they calculate obesity? Well, it's called BMI, Body Mass Index, and it's an index where we gauge the weight based on height and different factors to estimate whether the person is underweight, overweight, normal, obese. And there's a number where a person is 25 and 30, then he's considered to be overweight. And if a person is over 30, then you're considered obese. And if the world moves on this trajectory, then it is estimated that 2.7 billion adults will be overweight. Over 1 billion of the world's population will be affected by obesity. And this will be 2025. 177 million will be severely affected by obesity. So 1400 years ago, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has warned us of this. Some of the factors which researchers have linked to was energy dense food that are high in fat, high in sugars. If we look at, forget adults, even children that are of a young age, adolescent age, are affected by this because of all the different sugars and sweets and different foods that have been engineered to destroy us. Give them so much so that they live, but they live long enough to suffer and pay the cost for it. So whether it's the fast food industry, whether it's different industries, they collaborate and work to make sure this human being lives long enough to extract. Humanity is a big farm, and we are an experiment in this farm, but an experiment to extract and to extort mankind. So whether it's the amount of sugars, they list now the fats that are in there, organic foods is no more common, vegetables, nobody grows their own vegetables, nobody eats legumes, grains, nuts. Physical activity is just for the sake of physical activity. Then the harm of these sugars, which causes dental caries, which is a global health problem. They say around 2.3 billion people are affected with decay of permanent teeth. And if you look at children, then 560 million children have this sickness and disease. So the result of tooth decay, and we've done the mudhakara of miswak, so it's doing an abstinence as well. Then all the different things that are harmful, food additives, which have been put in foods for the safety, freshness, taste, texture, whatever it is, they've got their reasons where they justify it. They've got their standards, but it's harmful. So whatever food additive it is, we need to see that it should be those things that are natural. The more it's preserved, the more harmful. In the olden days, they never even had freezers. That's why the olden freezers, you'll see there wasn't freezers, there were fridges, and there was a small cubicle which was only made for ice blocks. Because freezing itself is harmful, it's unnatural. So try to eat more fresh, try to eat more organic, try to eat more close to the source. Then because everything has become commercialized, they needed to add different additives where they want to extend the life, the shelf life of these products. So you could get fruits out of season. That was the miracle of Maryam radiallahu anha, where fruits were out of season and they were visible. Nowadays, today also, we can have fruits out of season. It's because of these different processes. Then flavoring agents, just to increase the taste, the aroma, in different, whether it's confectionery, soft drinks, which are no-go zones. Soft drinks are no-go zone. Then there's different enzymes which are added in to boost the reaction and to break down molecules, and then preservatives to slow down the decomposition process, coloring which is added also to make the food look more attractive, and then non-sugar sweetness also which is added onto the food. So everything has become commercialized. We need to make sure we're not part of that plan. If we look at what Nabi Alayhi Salam has warned us, and just on the global statistics, 11th from the entire world, ranked 11th is Kuwait, most obese. Then 12th is the United States, 13 Jordan, Islamic country, 14 Saudi Arabia, Islamic, 15 Qatar, 16 Libya, 17 Turkey, 18 Egypt, 19 Lebanon, 20 UAE. So if it is the countries that are in the top 20, then the Muslim countries take the prize. US comes in between, but that's a state, I mean, their figures people are glued to, and that's one of the factors which certain, besides our diet, you go into the PlayStation, you go onto television, you go onto internet, you go onto streaming, you go onto cell phone usage. People have become lethargic and obese. Just in the US, the medical cost of obesity was $147 billion. This is 2008 statistics. So 60 chronic diseases have been linked to that as well. More than 1/3 of adults in the US are obese. More than 1/3, 32.5% are all overweight. So in all, take it together, more than 2/3 of adults in the US are overweight or obese. More than 2/3. So it's a lifestyle, it's a culture. Nabi alayhi salatu salam has warned us, let us be particular about it. The amal for today was, a person came to Nabi alayhi salam and said, Ya Rasulullah, ayyun nas ahabbu ila Allah. Who are those people who are most beloved to Allah? Ahabbu nas ila Allah anfa'uhum lin nas. The most beloveds of Allah, those who benefit mankind. Those that benefit mankind. One is the apparent benefit, where you remove difficulty, you help them in debt, you remove their hardship, you assist them in need. And the spiritual benefit, where you invite to Allah and save a person from the blazing fire of Jahannam. May Allah give us tawfiq of making amal, wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.